and it all fell apart.
Disaster.
Toxic.
Tragedy.
Armageddon.
No regrets. It happens. People want to have some hope of what may happen in the future, but it's hard for me to say.
How do you know?
Durant has had enough.
When it's time to go.
Requested a trade.
Run this course, you fell for the force, you hop in the Porsche and get on the road.
I can't worry about what people say. I just focus on me.
I'm built different, man, I feel different, even chill different when I whoop side. Relax when I breeze past and I might blast on the future. When they find out that you lie, you're out of time.
It's the elephant in the room every single day as we're in the heart of the offseason, right? What is going to happen with Kevin Durant? And Woj reported earlier that KD would prefer to land in either Phoenix or Miami, but so far nothing has materialized. And everyone's just sort of sitting back, waiting, opining, and that now also includes Commissioner Adam Silver, who said the following yesterday on trade demands in general. So take a listen.
This needs to be a two-way street. Teams provide enormous security and guarantees to players, and the expectation is in return that they'll meet their end of the bargain. I'm realistic that there's always conversations that are going to go on behind closed doors between players and their representatives on teams, but we don't like to see players requesting trades, and we don't like to see it playing out the way it is.
All right, back here with ESPN senior NBA writer Brian Windhorst. So, Brian, what is the reaction around the league to what Adam Silver said here?
That this was, he's way, way late on, making any sort of statement like this. The league has been allowing this for certainly all of his tenure with sort of unchecked. The players have continued, regardless of what's on their contracts, to do whatever they've wanted to with the leverage that they've earned. And the players have always had leverage. They've just kind of really discovered how powerful it is, and the league has allowed it. And so, when it comes to what happens on benches, the league is trying to curb the activity on the bench. When it comes to on-court discipline, the league is trying to curb that. During Adam Silver's reign, there's been tremendous strides made, but it's been much more lax in terms of following the perceived structure that was in place under David Stern. And some of that definitely needed to come towards the modern times. But now they're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. And the real answer is they have no recourse to Kevin Durant asking for a trade. They can certainly not trade him, but he has the leverage to force it to make it happen. And, there is a collective bargaining agreement talks coming up. They're going to start doing those more in earnest this summer and fall. But I don't see the players giving major concessions on this issue because, frankly, they don't have to.
So sort of regardless of what Adam Silver said, the fact of the matter is Kevin Durant's trade request, it's still there. It still stands. So at this very moment, what's the latest you're hearing on the KD trade front?
Yeah, the Nets are just really turned off by what they've been offered. And if some of the trade packages that have been floated to me are true, I agree with them. I think that they should expect more for Kevin Durant with 4 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
But the other teams in the league, Malika, they just don't believe that the Nets have a lot of leverage here. Despite the fact that Durant has 4 years on his contract, and the offers that they're making are reflective of that belief. And so the Nets have made sort of a counter move, which is to float the concept that Kevin could come back to them and they not trade him, and that they would not honor his trade request, or at least delay honoring that. And that is probably a prudent move based on what they're being offered. And it's also potentially a bargaining position, a negotiating stance, because they don't like what they're being offered. And we're in mid-July. We're months away from training camp, months and months away from the start of the season, that they shouldn't be forced to make a move. So unfortunately, I think we're in a stalemate, and we're looking for an event to change that. That might be some sort of comment from Kevin Durant at some point. That might be something else that happens in the league. It might be time running out in the offseason. But Summer League is breaking up. The executives are beginning to leave town, and I'm not sensing any traction on the deal.
Interesting. Okay, let's bring Perk and our analyst Roz Goldon-Wude into the conversation to dissect this a little bit more. Roz, you covered Kevin Durant up close and personal in his first year with Golden State. So based on your knowledge of Kevin, what's the best possible outcome for, I want to say the Nets, but it really could be two different things here. What's best for the Nets, and then what's best for Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I think one thing that's important to point out from Adam Silver's comments is that Kevin Durant requesting a trade is still different than him saying, I'm not going to report to training camp. I'm not going to play games.
Yes.
Very different conversation. Right now, he's just expressing dissatisfaction with the organization. And there's an opportunity here in this public discourse to potentially find something that could work for both sides. But if they can't, then I feel like the best thing for the Nets is to hold on to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I'm not sure what the leverage situation here is, but I don't think I've seen the best of the Nets yet.
No.
And so now you might have an opportunity to see it through the end of Kyrie Irving's contract, perhaps see all the players available from the beginning of the season, see what Ben Simmons can do, see if you're trending upwards by the end of next season, and then make more informed decisions.
All right, well, we haven't seen the best of the Nets because we've barely seen the Nets of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant on the court, let alone we haven't seen any of Ben Simmons on the court. Perk, what do you think about all of this?
You know what? We need to ask the question, why did Kevin Durant request the trade? And this is just my opinion. Why, right? Why did he request the trade? My opinion is because the Nets haven't offered Kyrie Irving extension that Kyrie Irving wants, right? That's the only reason I could see Kevin Durant wanting out. Okay, now going back to KD and the Nets situation. Think about it. Kobe Bryant requested a trade during his career from the Lakers.
Famously.
And did he really want to leave LA? No, he didn't. But he requested a trade to show them that, hey, I will leave if you don't upgrade the roster. And what did the Lakers do? The Lakers went out and got Paul Gasol. I'm not saying KD is saying upgrade the roster, but KD is probably saying, hey, I need you to sign Kyrie Irving to a long-term extension. So in my opinion, what I said to you last week, Malika, is this. I don't believe that Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving are going anywhere. That's just my honest opinion. Look, they're still on the market right now. I think time will heal all this. I think eventually Kevin Durant will talk with the Brooklyn Nets. He will come in himself, not his representation in Rich Kleiman, and I think they will figure it out. I think the start of the season, we will see Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant all in Brooklyn Nets uniform to start the regular season of this year.
Well, certainly I feel like the Nets is presently constructed. They don't lack talent. They perhaps lack depth. From my time there, they certainly seem to lack an infusion of accountability, but they certainly do not lack talent. So to me, this feels like maybe the perfect time to just add a little bit of a producer Perk pep talk. Producer Perk pep talk. Say that 10 times fast. Producer Perk pep talk. Perk, what advice would you offer the Brooklyn? No, I'm not. Go ahead.
You ready for that? Before I start, can you give me the correct way to say the owner of the Brooklyn Nets name so I won't mess this up?
Josiah.
Okay, here we go. Josiah and Sean Marks. Listen, you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, two of the most skilled basketball players to ever touch a basketball. You have a Ben Simmons, one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best facilitators in the league. You actually have a big three. Look, Josiah, I know you have all the money in the world, and I get that. But this is not about the money. It's about your pride. Put your pride aside. Have a conversation with your two franchise players or three franchise players. Get this thing resolved. Make these guys feel good. Grant them even more of their wishes or come to a mutual ground where y'all all could compromise and make this thing work. Again, right now, you're in New York. You have the upper hand. You're more relevant than the New York Knicks. Don't let this go away all because of your pride. Carry on.
Carry on. I felt like there should have been, like, with that music, like fire coming out of the back of your head. You felt that one. That was a little spicy. Okay.
I killed that, yeah.
Congratulations, Kendrick. You added to your legacy by doing that. Brian Windhorst, thank you so much for your time today. Roz, stick around and we'll continue to add to your legacy because coming up on NBA Today, Mr. Bobby Marks, he has a potential 4-team trade It involves Kevin Durant. It involves Donovan Mitchell. Do not miss that. It is interesting. Plus, the Celtics, they revamped their whole squad, and they're poised for another title run. But are they the favorites in the East? I'm sure Perk has something to say about that. And we're going to take a look back at the best Summer League dunks of all time. Ooh-wee! Check out who made the cut. More NBA Today after the break.